Hi guys, we're reading The Wizards of Once by Cressida Cowell. We left Wish in the woods and Queen Sycorax, who's Wish's mom, was coming out to find her, and Tsar was just about to leave her. Wish's enchanted spoon was looking after her and trying to comfort her, even though he couldn't talk. So let's find out what's going to happen next. Looking into other people's lives when they're not right in front of you is also impossible. Probably? I say probably because turning back time and looking into other people's lives when they are not right in front of you are both things that require the kind of magic we call imagination. Tsar had not developed that kind of magic yet, any more than he could move objects with the sheer power of his mind or fly without the helpful addition of wings. So as soon as Wish was out of his sight, Tsar promptly forgot about her and carried on with the much more important task of congratulating himself on how clever he'd been as he rode on King Cat's back to Wizard Camp. Meanwhile, back in the clearing, Wish had stopped crying because Wish was a practical person and crying wasn't going to help. "What are we going to do now?" said Bodkin, with round, goggling eyes, bulging with dismay at the way the situation had developed. "We're just going to have to follow that cheating burglar of a Tsar boy to his wizard camp and steal that enchanted sword back off him, and then we can sneak back into our own fort before morning," said Wish. "That sword is magic mixed with iron, and we mustn't let it fall into the hand of the wizards." "Oh, is that all we have to do?" said Bodkin hollowly. "And here was I thinking we had a problem." "On the plus side, we do get to ride these snowcats," said Wish. "That's a plus side," said Bodkin, looking in horror at the gigantic wild beast standing uncomfortably close to them. "But they're banned animals. It's against the rules." Timidly, Wish put out her hand and touched the unbelievable softness of Forest Heart's head. She had been absolutely dying to ride on one of the snowcats from the moment she set eyes on them. Gingerly, Wish climbed onto its back. "Will you be following us, Crusher?" Wish called up to the giant. Crusher looked delighted to have his feelings consulted. "I'm a bit slower than those snowcats," he said, giving a great smile like a cracked pumpkin. "But I'll be right behind you. I'll be fine. I'm a giant." Of course, what was she thinking? A giant could take care of itself. He was probably a terrifying fighter, even if he was a vegetarian. "Follow Tsar, please, Snowcat," said Wish. Forest Heart leaped up and bounded forward with velvet suddenness. "I'm actually riding a snowcat, in real life," thought Wish, with disbelieving excitement, as the lynx weaved smoothly through the trees, the night wind blowing back Wish's hair. Wish forgot the peril of the moment and whooped in joy. "By holly and mistletoe and witches' toenails and the stinky breath of the goggle-eyed goblin hopper," thought Bodkin, all alone in the clearing. That little princess was more like her mother than she looked. Stubborn, reckless, pig-headed, and the wizard boy was even worse. What was it with royalty? Maybe all the rich food they ate went to their heads. But what could poor Bodkin do? He couldn't stay here all alone in the possibly werewolf-infested wood, enjoying the cool night air and playing Spot the Rogabreath. And besides, he ought to be protecting and controlling the uncontrollable little princess. That was his job. So reluctantly, he climbed on top of the second banned animal, who equally reluctantly allowed himself to be climbed on, and leaped forward after Wish. The giant Crusher leaned down and gently picked up the sleeping pony in one giant hand. He smoothed the pony's mane with one giant finger, like a human might pet a mouse, before very gently putting the pony in one of his pockets and very slowly lumbering after Bodkin and Wish and the snowcats. "Don't worry," shouted Wish across to Bodkin as Night Eye caught up with Forest Heart. "It's going to be fine." "Don't worry," said Bodkin sarcastically. "It's going to be fine." So far tonight we have broken out of Warrior Fort without permission, taken an enchanted spoon as a pet, stolen your mother's extremely precious sword, and as it turns out, exceptionally dangerous sword, let that same sword fall into wizard hands, thus putting into peril the entire war against the magic. And now we are travelling into the heart of enemy territory on the back of a whole load of banned animals, having been kidnapped by a lunatic. Wizard boy, who may or may not be about to turn into a werewolf. Why would I worry? Bodkin's stomach gave a loud rumble. And we've missed supper. Deer burgers, my favourite. Squeeze-Shoes zipped ahead like a little streak of white lightning, screeching, "Eyes the lookout! Eyes the lookout! Ah! There's a jaguar! There's a jaguar! Oh, no! Sorry's my mistake! It's a tree trunk! Sorry, everybody!" Silence fell as they followed Tsar further and further into the dark wilderness of the wildwoods, deeper and deeper into the unknown, where strange eyes seemed to glare from behind trees and terrifying shrieks of the night time screamed all over around them. That could be jaguars, or could be werewolves, or could be worse than all of these. Luckily, Bodkin did not see two things that happened after they left the clearing, or he would have been even more worried than he was already. Firstly, the giant crusher was captured by Sycorax's iron warriors. Wish had been right to be concerned about him. Giants are deep thinkers, but unfortunately, the fact that they operate in a slower time zone puts them at a severe disadvantage when faced with much smaller enemies. Crusher just about had time to think. What on earth is going? Before the warriors on their plunging horses exploded into the clearing and wound iron chains round and round his legs. The warriors warned him that if he made a sound they would kill the pony, so the giant was silent as he was dragged away towards Iron Warrior Fort, making the treetops sway as he stumbled and blundered after the angry ant-like warriors. Why were they so cross about? Giants didn't understand crossness. It seemed like such an obvious waste of time. And then there was silence. But the air in the clearing seemed to chill a few degrees cooler than it had before, and the snow moved and swelled, like a white sea turning stormy. Was it that something was descending into the clearing? Had something been watching? Could it be that something was looking for the enchanted sword? Ah, yes, that would have made Bodkin worry. But if that something was a witch, however unlikely that may seem, Bodkin was going to need very advanced bodyguard skills indeed. Witches' feet make no footprint, witches' bodies make no shadows, but they make the trees, the land, the moss a little colder as they pass. Curse Song of the Sprites. We're not there, that's just air, that glimpse of wing you saw right there, that dying cow, that wasn't us, so don't you cuss and don't you dare. Cross the sprites and curse their spite and make your hand a stony fist. You can't punch us, we don't exist, we're only mist. And that was just the wind that hissed. We don't care and we weren't there, and for a dare we would never snap that chair. And leave it looking like it was perfectly all right, and wait for someone big and fat and old to put their lardy fat behind on it and smoosh, bang, ha ha ha, smash. The entire thing shattered into tiny smithereens, and then they land upon the stony floor and break their jaw, and fuss and roar and cry until they cry no more. And that was not the eerie sound of fairy laughter when they cried, and if they said it was, they lied. That dying child, that wasn't us, so don't you cuss and don't you dare. Cross the sprites and curse their spite and make your hand a stony fist. You can't punch us, we don't exist, we're only mist, and that was just the wind that hissed. Right, so I wonder what's going to happen next. Tsar has headed back to Wizard Fort for the spelling competition. Crusher has been caught. I wonder what's going to happen to Wish now that her mother is nearly there. Join me tomorrow. Bye.